So Matt Walsh says that this is the wokest trailer that he has ever seen. And that baffled me because I have seen a lot of woke stuff in my life. And I'm genuinely curious if this is going to take the cake or not. So let's watch it together and comment.
Din Charity Adams, welcome to the Women's Army Corps.
Gentlemen, my wife and I have been talking about the...
Right, I can definitely see why you would think it's woke. Like, we're 9 seconds in, and the word "my wife and I were talking" is just like scratching my ear. It's not how people talk, is it? Again, I'm a Romanian, so English is my second language. But usually people would name the wife, right? So it would be like, Henriette and I were talking. You know, Jezebel and I were having a conversation. Isn't this like how normal people speak? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. So when you say like, my wife and I, it's just weird. And also the fact that most men, especially military men, again, correct me if I'm wrong, they would say me and my wife. Right? Like, it's just like how people think. Like, you're trying to represent an era, which is like, what, 1942? Like, people back then, you gotta be authentic. You gotta actually give a shit about immersion. You gotta try to get the people to act how they would act that day. And they would definitely not say, my wife and I. It's just like a no-brainer. So the person who wrote the script, to me, it signalizes that they're not very good at their job. Like they were just using like modern interpretations and applying them to the past and trying to create a historical movie, well, a movie inspired by history at least, while really not caring about immersion at all.
Problems we are having with the mail and our soldiers' morale.
Mr. President, this assignment has proven to be a logistical nightmare. Even tried the Women's Army Corps.
You mean the White Women's Army Corps?
Well, is there another?
Oh my fucking god. See, I'm not against like trying to highlight the racial tensions of the 1940s. But again, I'm not an American, right? Like, this is a product that's supposed to be for the world. Like, I from Romania am supposed to enjoy this. And I generally don't give a shit about American identity politics because I don't live there. I generally don't care. Like, is that allowed? Like, does the entire world, do leftists in America think they're so important that the entire globe, the entire human population has to give a fuck about their politics? The answer is no. You're creating a movie for entertainment. I'm not going to study American history with Netflix. And so, if you're trying to show me that black women are being oppressed, which is like part of the theme, how can you do that by showing me a white general talking with this lady, and the lady is giving him sass? Like, that's not a very racist culture, is it? Like, imagine if a random Romanian talked like this to a member of the Communist Party back during the Iron Curtain, like, he would immediately be prosecuted. Like, you would get into immediate trouble. Why? Because there was actual classism between the inner party members and the rest of the people. But the problem, I think, is that the person who wrote the script generally doesn't understand what racism is. Like, they're in the Hollywood bubble, they have no idea of human interactions, and so they wrote this scene in. Maybe the scene makes sense, it's just the trailer, but again, like, you're trying to convince me to watch your stuff. Like, this is what you're showing me to persuade me to watch the movie. And so far, we're 27 seconds in, and I think it's poorly written.
Adams, you and the 6th AAA Battalion are headed to Europe.
Should you open it?
The Postal Battalion?
They think the only thing we good for is deliver some damn mail.
Oh my god. Holy shit. This Hollywood mentality has to stop. The idea that women want to be in the front line, that women want to be in this shit, where did you learn that? How did you reach the conclusion that people would rather be here than delivering mail? So, I mean, we can look at Ukraine right now. How many women want to be here? And the answer is, well, there are some. Like, we can't say not all, right? Like, there are some that genuinely want to be here. I don't know why. They're so fucking rare, though, right? But in Hollywood, in movies, like, this theme is constantly being reinforced. Like, constantly, like, people want to be here. And here's the thing, I get the idea of wanting to defend your country, because that's respectable. But you're already in the military. Like, what type of person, what sane individual who joins the army and they're told, okay, you're going to be back home doing important work, and we're going to explain why it's important in a bit, but you're doing actually very important work, and you don't have to serve in the front line. And people will be like, oh my god, that's horrible. I would just be like, are you mental? Do you know how many people would appreciate being in your position right now? So, like, you get to complete your military service with honor, and you get paid, and you get all the benefits and all the perks, and you don't have to do this shit? Wow, how ungrateful! Holy fuck! But yeah, no, like I'm looking right now in Ukraine. Like, you have men that are being dragged from the streets. Same in Russia, by the way, right? That's what conscription looks like when it's applied. You have like just average citizens going on their day-to-day business, and they're kicking and screaming because they're being dragged off into this shit. And Hollywood makes a movie suggesting that no, actually, this is where women have to be. They're fictional characters, by the way. They're I get it's inspired from reality, but don't show it in the trailer then. Like, have it like a by the way. It's just... Human beings don't act this way, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure that history glamorizes it, or, like some people may actually say that in order to look tough and whatever. But most people in the world don't want to be here. A mother, if she finds out that her son has joined the military and he's being placed in order to deliver mail, she would thank the Lord. She would thank Jesus. It's like, oh, that is good news. No mother wants their son in this shit.
Oh my God.
Ladies, we have been ordered to provide hope. The soldiers have not heard from their loved ones, and their loved ones have not heard from them.
So the thing is, I genuinely like the theme of the movie. That's what pisses me off. Like, it's not a bad theme, because this is actually incredibly important. Like, imagine you're a soldier fighting in Germany, and you haven't heard from back home. So you may think that your girlfriend or your wife is cheating on you. You may think that your family doesn't care about you. And if you're the family and you're not hearing from your loved ones that are fighting, you're like, oh my god, have they died? Like every single day that they get the mail and they see that their son is alive is another blessing, right? So this is actually incredibly important for morale. And I really like the theme of this. Like, it's a great thing, but like the way it's written is absolute shite.
When there is no mail, there is low morale.
See, this is another problem with Hollywood, and only Hollywood. And it's only since 2016, and that is the casting choice. I was actually talking with a person from South Africa, a black gentleman, subscribed to me, and he was saying that he was watching American movies from the 90s, and people in South Africa were shocked about how beautiful black American women are. And the reason for this is that they actually, like get this is insane, I know. They would hire a person that was tasked into finding superstars. So like out of 350 million Americans, they would go out and they would try to find the most beautiful, gorgeous looking people that can also act. And that was a very difficult job. Like that's actually something that they paid money to do. And then they had like an entire team of professional makeup artists in order to try and make them as beautiful and as stunning as possible. And today, this is what China does. This is what Bollywood does. This is what the entire fucking world does, but America, for some reason, they decided to reject beauty. I don't know why. They choose hag maxing. And I'm looking at these ladies, right? It's the makeup team that's to blame. It's the casting director that's also to blame. Like, we're talking about soldiers, right? Shouldn't they be younger women? Shouldn't they be, like, within the age of 18 to 20, 22, like, new recruits and stuff? Wouldn't it actually serve the movie better? Like you want the audience to directly sympathize with them, right? So like if you make them younger, if you make them more innocent looking, you can accomplish that without any other expose. This is what anime does, right? Like when they want you to like a character, they make it more attractive and instantly, bam. In this situation, yeah, I would make them all, like I would cast only women between the age of 18 to 22. And I would go with cuteness. Like I would try to make the hairstyle and the appearance to be as cute as possible. I would try to make them less stern, less stoic. Even if they're soldiers, it doesn't matter. Like soldiers aren't frowny faces all the fucking time. And then it hits differently with the audience. They already do this. Like when they do Save Private Ryan or when they do other war movies, right? Like the character that they want the audience to empathize with, like he's usually younger than everyone else. Like what was the name of Tiger? I think the one with the tank, right? Like the guy that you want the audience to like and they want the audience to connect with immediately. I think he's like 18 or 20 years old. Like he's very young, right? And all the other guys, they're experienced, they're grizzly, and this guy is out of his element. And because he is like the underdog, immediately the audience just connects with that. You don't need expose. You don't need him talking about how his parents died in the plague and how he's an orphan. Like, no, just by making him look meek and meager, makes the audience immediately connect. And so in this situation, if you were to have like, again, just younger women that have a makeup team designed to make them look like cuter and stuff, rather than hag maxing, then you would probably end up with the audience connecting more with the movies. And they used to do that in the fucking 90s. Just like watch any movie from the 90s. They used to do that all the way up until 2016. Then even further down the line, where you have action movies that cast grandmas in it, like Borderlands. I looked at Borderlands is an action movie with explosion and people running around and shit. The age of the actor, 60 years old. Like, fuck off. That's immersion breaking, right? There is absolutely no reason why the women here all have to be stoic. I mean, I get it, they're soldiers, right? But why can't they be feminine? Why can't they smile? Why can't they laugh? Why can't they be a little bit more relaxed? Like, it's a movie, you don't have to create maximum realism. Like, it's amazing that the immersion happens here. But, like, with other things that would require immersion, you choose not to. Like, with the important things, like how a general talks, and well, no immersion there. Like, we can take away some artistic freedom there. But here, where it's like literally the type of people that you want the crowd to empathize with, you go with stoicism and like, I'm generally curious, like what is the age of the actors? Like, is it like, what, like 40, 50? Huh? Like, is this normal for a military? I'm just curious, because I just watched the Night Witches from Russia, you know, they were also women that did a similar thing, like they wanted to break societal norms and to show that women can do it too, and they didn't give them a chance. They expected them to fail, but they actually made the best with what they got, and they had femininity. Like, I'm looking at the historical photos, they don't have like this level of stoicism, angry expression. Like, again, it's not about this movie. I just want people to understand it's not the criticism directed at this movie, but it's like the theme in Hollywood and Netflix as a whole. Everywhere, every single movie, everything. To the point where even my wife was talking about it. Like, my wife, who doesn't know politics, doesn't talk about politics at all, was watching The Wheel of Time on Netflix, I think, or Amazon. And she was asking, it's like, why do the women look like this? And we're like, what do you mean? Well, they look like grandmas, but like the men they're with look like Greek gods, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would a man that looks like that be with a woman that, you know? Like, imagine Captain America, where he was like a 65-year-old. And it's the same story, literally, the same thing, like the movie. Do you think the movie would have been that popular? I mean, it would still be popular, probably. Depends on the actor, right? But the question is, like, what was the casting director thinking? What was the makeup team thinking? Like, why? Anyway, I'm ranting too much because, like, this personally doesn't, like, really upset me in this movie, but it's, like, everywhere. You know, it's just, like, another straw on the camel's back. And it's just, I'm just wondering, like, when am I going to see a Netflix movie that actually has superstars in it? And the answer is probably never. Karate Kid, I think, like Cobra Kai, right? Like, Cobra Kai has good casting choice, The Orville has good casting choice, and everything else that came before 2016. But everything that's coming now, it's like making me wonder who is the person responsible of casting at these companies.
6 AAA Battalion! Forward march! They did not send us.
See, like, this part I like. This part of the trailer is genuinely fucking awesome.
They did not send us because they thought we could do it. We are here because they are sure we cannot.
Imagine again if all the actresses were like 20, 25-year-olds, they're really cute and they're very innocent in their thinking. Like they generally don't understand the world, they're very idealistic and stuff. And despite the fact that they realize everything is stacked against them, like they start to understand how the world works, but they're like, no, we got a job to do. And we're going to do it. Like, we're going to show the world that... Wouldn't that hit a little bit differently? Like, do visuals and aesthetics not matter anymore? And if the answer is no, how much are you paying the casting director? Because it's probably one of the cheapest jobs in the world. Like, you can just go on the street and just pick random people. It's like, you, looking the part? What does that mean? Nah.
We could do it. We are here because they are sure we cannot. We are no strangers to making a shack a home. We are at war, and when you are at war, you make do. Unlike some other folks here, we have the most to prove. Now is...
Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. Who made the trailer? Who the fuck made the trailer? Fire that guy. Fire that guy. Like, up until here you had me, and I was like, okay, well, this is pretty good. You know, like, the casting could be a little bit better, but, like, other than that, it's like, interesting. I would see the movie. And then they're like, unlike everybody here, we got the most to prove. And then you're showing me the fucking battle? Who made the trailer? Who decided to put this scene right after this scene? Like, I'm willing to bet every single man here, including the one from the plane that just crashed, would want to be in this room. Every single fucking one of them. God. Anyway, right. Regarding the movie, yeah, no, I think, like, the plot is interesting. Like, I would genuinely want to watch this, you know, seeing people that are fighting against discrimination by showing their meritocratic power and showing, look, like, we can do the jobs, just please trust us with something more, and like, we can do what everyone else does, like, stop discriminating against us. Like, that's a nice message. I love it, right? Like, the one where they're marching with the American flag, and they're showing, you know what, they thought that the job isn't important, but they find meaning in it, and they're actually in the right. That's awesome. But then it's like the fucking cringe dialogue here and there, and the inability of just staying away from the cringe modern identity politics. And then, like, you're having the trailer where you're like, we got the most to prove, and then literally, like, men dying. Like, fuck off. You know, like, some of these men may not even have wanted to be here. Like, some of them may not even have volunteered, and they have no choice. And so, like, oh, God, whatever. All in all, no, it's like one of those things where they have a great concept, but I think, like, the writers are going to ruin it. Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.